Hello. We are making a video. My baby dog and I. We just took some photos of him and they look pretty good. I think I'm gonna post them on Facebook for my animal rights friends, and maybe one on X. So the first thing I want to say, please, for everyone who cares about life on Earth, okay, cares about justice and animals and beings, please go to the Paul Watson Foundation website and sign the latest petition to the judges in Denmark and Greenland to really listen to what Paul Watson is saying in the courtroom. Okay, really listen to him. Listen to his lawyer and everyone speaking out for him. Jane Goodall and Jean-Paul de Joria and many other caring, kind-hearted people that are speaking out for him. Listen to them. Okay, so that's the plea to those judges. Please tell the judges, listen to Paul Watson, listen to everyone who is speaking up for him. Okay, he is innocent and he needs to go home. So I just signed the new petition and I posted it, and I posted a video also. And later tonight I'm also going to write one or two more personal letters. I don't know, I guess maybe 3 letters. It doesn't hurt. You can also write to the Prime Minister of Japan. I forgot the name. It's very difficult to remember those names. Matsuko or something like that. But you have to look that up yourself. Prime Minister of Japan. Write a letter to them and tell them that Paul Watson is innocent. Okay, so they want Paul Watson extradited to Japan because they want to put him in prison there because they're mad at him that he had stopped their whale hunting days that they were out there in the Antarctic Ocean illegally. The whale hunters were there illegally. They were in the whale sanctuary that was supposed to be protected, but not enforced. Nobody there, no Interpol, no Coast Guards. The only people who protected the whales were Paul Watson and his crew, okay, and his ship, or one ship or 2 ships, okay, and they protected the whales. They risked their lives to protect the whales. They never hurt anyone. Okay, these accusations against him are all made up. He never hurt anyone during his whale saving campaigns. Okay, but they're coming up with lies. That's the same with what the Biden criminals are doing to Donald Trump. Okay, it's the same thing, same story. Okay. That's how criminals function. They make up lies, they make up accusations, they militarize, they weaponize the legal system, they twist everything, they bribe their way through. That's how they function, and they bribed their way through with Greenland and Denmark. Their Greenland and Denmark is obviously connected. I didn't know that. Greenland is governed by Denmark, by the Danish ministry, and by the Danish Prime Minister. And you can also write a letter to Mette Frederiksen, that's the Danish Prime Minister, and tell her that he's innocent, okay, and let go of the charges. So that's all I can say to this. This is extremely, extremely important. Paul Watson does not deserve to be extradited to Japan, where they would torture him. I know they would, okay? So, and I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Japan. I wrote a good letter, a kind letter. I pleaded, I said, listen to the facts, he's innocent and he's old and he deserves to go home to his wife and children. He does not deserve to suffer. He's risked his life, he's given everything, his whole existence to saving the whales and never hurt a living being in this process. So Captain Paul Watson is the most altruistic person on earth. That's a fact, okay? And there are also other altruistic people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Robert Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it to me. Yes, don't do this to me. He just pushed me with his feet because he wants something. He wants action or some. What is it that you want? You want entertainment? Is that what it is? You want entertainment? You want to go for what? But don't ask me to do it. Don't ask me to do it. You have to ask Paul. Yes, you have to ask Paul Redwood first. Yes, your daddy. You have to ask him because he takes you to the park. I don't even go out of the house. So, what are you thinking? You thinking something? You thinking? What are you thinking right now? What is it you're thinking? Action? Is that what it is? Thinking action? Yes, it's good. Is it good? What Casey Kasem are you? Yes, that's what you are. You're my Casey Kasem? You want to go to the park? Yes, that is what it is, isn't it? Yes. Go to the cemetery? Go to the cemetery? Yes, I think so. So, but I can't do it right now, baby dog. I'm making a video. So these things, those things are all really, really, really important. Just really important. Animal rights and justice. Justice for those people that risk their lives to make the world a better place. Very, very important that we get justice into the world. Very, very important. And I do what I can to stand up for justice. I do the best I can. I sign petitions, I speak out, I write, I make videos. I don't know what else to do, that's all I can do, shout out to justice and walk your talk. We live green. We want to get land away from any kind of community out there in nature. We want to get off the grid. We want to live 100% fully sustainable, self-sustainable, and in a biodynamic life cycle. Okay, with nature, with animals, with fruit trees. The apple tree is gorgeous, has beautiful, beautiful apples, red apples. And every day when I get up, I come out here, I put my bare feet on the grass, and I eat one of those large red apples. They are very, very sour. Most people would not eat them. Okay, just thinking of eating that apple makes me have saliva in my mouth. Like a lot of saliva gushing out. Oh, just the thought of eating the apple. And my teeth are a little bit sensitive to that acidity. But it's okay, you know. An apple a day keeps the farmer industry away. And so that is my philosophy. That's what I live by. And sometimes I eat 2 apples a day, and sometimes I cut an apple into pieces and put it in the blender, blend it with water, and it tastes really, really, really good. Particularly a sour apple with lots of vitamin C in it. Tastes very, very good, very refreshing, wonderful. Particularly when it's warm outside, so it's really good. Or you can put a cup of rolled oats in with it and blend all of that together. It tastes really, really good. Or brown sugar with it. It's really good. It's whole food vegan. And that's how I live. Whole food vegan. And that's the only way to live. Okay? So I want to talk also in this video about Julian Assange. The other day, about 2 days ago, in the middle of the night, it was like 12:30 or something, or 1 o'clock. It was very late. When Julian Assange was going on the air live in England, which is 9 hours later than here. That's why it was so late for us and early in the morning for them. So, yes, it was somewhere around, I don't know, 8:30 or something in the morning that they started with that hearing. And so it was like a hearing for journalists from all around the globe. And he was sitting with a panel of people on stage, and they each had their microphone, and one woman from Iceland who was speaking for him in his support. And what she said was very clear and very, very true and very wise. Okay, so that all he tried to do was bring the truth to the world, and for that he was being punished, incarcerated, and tortured. And the people that he exposed, which is the US military, they went scot-free and nothing happened to them. And that is a stark injustice. And it was very clear. The way she spoke was wonderful, was really good. Okay. And some other people spoke as well for him. And I think he has a lawyer also sitting next to him, and his wife on the other side. So, and then there was an audience of a number of people, I think about 100 people, maybe. I am guessing most of them are journalists, and some of them were asking questions. So I watched that, even though I was tired, but I was really interested in it. I thought this is probably gonna be posted everywhere the next day, and it was, but I wanted to see it live, because sometimes they edit things later on, and they sure did. They sure did. But what's really interesting is that there were things that were edited out that that I heard in the live presentation. But even during the live presentation, I was shocked to see that they put in what sounds to other people as technological disturbances with the microphone or the recording equipment or whatever, their entire electronics, right? That they'll blame it on that. Oh, it was just some electronic glitch and should not have happened. But it happened every time. Every time he said something that they thought they would rather edit out. So they would rather the public that doesn't hear it. And it was interesting that just those words, and even during the live broadcast, just those words that would bring a little bit more insight into this entire situation, in the way he was treated and what was going on and who were the bad people and who were the good people. Every time it's like a specific word that would make it more clear to the public, that just so happened to get an electronic disturbance, some kind of gray static or something, or some kind of beeps, or someone in the audience even. That's really shocking. I guess there's a lot of infiltrators that were already sitting there like I don't want to compare them ever to an animal, okay? So because the animals are innocent, so these people in the audience, I don't even want to compare them to a black widow spider. So because the black widow spider doesn't know better, but the people in the audience, they should know better, okay? So there were the infiltrators, there were some infiltrators that were sitting in the audience, and they're working for the corporate agenda, and they follow everything very closely, and they can already tell approximately when he's about to say something that is more revealing to the public and that would be eye-opening or something, and then they know how to accidentally cough real loud or say excuse me to someone or shout or say something loud or even object to what he says. Like, it can be just one sound that will then make this one word, this one critical word, not heard by the audience. Okay, so because they don't even want the live audience that are there in person to hear every word. So they have everything covered with their corruption. Trust me, they go to a lot of lengths to cover things up. It's obvious, I paid really close attention to it. It's obvious and it's sad. And I have raised a lot of questions on the internet. I'm not gonna get into the detail of that right now. I don't know if I should, because I don't want to incriminate someone who's innocent, but maybe I should say it. Why should I not say it? I'm hesitating because I'm afraid. But let me just say it all. Okay. I followed this story of Julian Assange. And I was very worried for him. Very worried. Very worried. I saw danger for him after they exposed the U.S. military. I really saw danger for him and Manning. Okay. Obviously, very, very scary. anyone welcome to write something under my video. If you know more, if you know it better, please write it down. Okay. I welcome any kind of correction or opinion or fact check. Okay, I am for fact checking. I can be fact checked. I'm not saying what I'm saying right now about what I'm going to say right now is just a question I am raising. It's not a fact. It's not like something I have evidence for. Okay, it's just something that my intuition told me in the very beginning already. And I could be completely wrong, you know. I'm not saying I'm like this total, accurate psychic medium who knows every single thing about everyone and everything. So obviously not, right? I also sometimes go overboard, and I have an overreaction to something, and that comes from being fearful. That comes from also, of course, it comes from the world around me of people that have their price, and as Rockefeller said, you know, of course, you know, if everyone was trustworthy, I wouldn't develop this type of hypervigilance and maybe accusing someone wrongly or something. But I had a suspicion in the very beginning. I didn't know what it was. I was debating in myself, is it my own thing? Is it my jealousy? You know, I had a crush, as so many women had a crush on Julian Assange, and so many women, I don't even know, that you couldn't even count the women that had a crush on Julian Assange. My best friend Rosa Meliam had a crush on him, and we would share him even, you know. So I mean, he is incredibly good looking, soft spoken, highly intelligent, and extremely compassionate. So, you know, that's obvious. Anyone who puts their lives in such a dangerous situation, whistleblowing something very critical, you know, going against the Goliath of the cable network, as I call it, you know, the cabal, cabal equals cable, obviously it's a word relation, right? So anyone who goes against that, you know, the cable network of corruption, then that is a couple of numbers too large of a wave, okay, for whoever wants to be that David figure that goes against the Goliath, right? I mean, you really risk your life doing this. This is really dangerous. So that's why I always said I'm an activist, but I'm not going to go to that. I'm not going to go to that lengths with my activism where I would put my life or my family's life in danger, right? Like alone against the mafia. No, I don't have the leverage, okay? I don't have an entire civil rights movement behind me with that. I'm just one person. I can be sniped out in a second, and I will at some point. I already know that is my destiny, okay? But I would not want something worse than that, which is what Julian Assange must have signed up for as a soul contract, namely going to a high security prison where he does not belong, okay, Belmarsh prison in England, together with extreme terrorists and violent people where he does not belong. He's not a violent person. He never did anything wrong. He never has broken any laws. Okay. All he did was practicing freedom of speech and exposing criminals, but then going to prison and the criminals don't. Okay, so because we are living in a world that is run by mafia-esque cable network of corruption. That's why. Okay. Because most people, it seems like, put money on the highest pedestal. For them, being bribed off shuts them up, makes them look the other way. Okay, that's what's going on. And every one of those people that puts money over justice, that everyone who puts money over the safety of other living beings, every one of them is guilty of what happened to Julian Assange. Every one of them, whether they know it or not. Some of them are not very consciously aware. Some of them are disconnected a little bit. But that does not get them off the hook, okay? Morally and ethically. Morally and ethically, every one of these people that have looked the other way, that have given the network of corruption a free pass to do their criminal acts, is guilty of what happened to Julian Assange in prison. And I was terrified for him. I prayed for years. I made a song for him. I cried. I prayed to the Blue God every day. Please, Blue God, give me the power to do astral projections too. I mean, I was like fixated on it, you know. Astral projections to go to the Belmarsh prison, go there as a ghost and open that cage, open that kennel and let him out. Take him by the hand and lead him out of there into freedom. Bring him back to his girlfriend, his wife. They got married in prison. So I felt so strongly about this. I feel just as strongly about Paul Watson, you know, he's in prison right now in Greenland. Okay. I want to go there as a ghost, as an extension of my soul, right? A bilocation code, you know, where you can re-manifest another astral body somewhere else, where you can project your astral body somewhere else into a different location. And if you have enough energy, you can manifest that light body, that energy body, into a relatively solid body form, where almost like some kind of exoskeleton somewhere else, right? All of this is going to be coming technologically, but this method exists actually in yoga. It exists in the form of meditation and yoga and yoga practices and mental practices. Okay, there are people that have practices for thousands and thousands of years. Okay, not very many people that are capable of doing this, but there are some. The Satya Sai Baba was one of them. So he was very good at that. Even he would appear in someone's bedroom and tell them what they have to pay attention to. Like when he cared about someone, when he thought that this was an important person that had a message for the world. So, and I was thinking feverishly, how can I astral project, to save Julian Assange? How can I astral project to save Captain Paul Watson? How can I astral project and go there in a bilocation remanifestation of my soul extension anywhere, or multiply myself into many astral robots, right? That will all, if I had this mental power, if that would all go into every slaughter facility there is around the globe, and free and open every cage and every kennel and let every animal free. Lead every animal to freedom and do what I can to free every living being. I even had militant thoughts about these kind of things, but I know that Helena Petrovna Blavatsky said very clearly she was one of the incarnations of Gautama Buddha. That's what I believe. She wrote 4 volumes of The Secret Doctrine. I'm reading volume 3 right now. In the beginning of volume 1, in the very beginning, she has a warning, 1 page, before she starts with this entire book. The warning goes to every person on earth: do not use the occult or any kind of mental practice or any kind of leverage or any kind of skill. Do not use any of this for selfish purposes. Use whatever you learned only to help another living being. Okay. So I have to be very clear in my mind about this, that I will not use force, I will not use violence. If I ever develop any of these abilities. So it really also depends on your situation. The more immediate the situation is for a compassionate person. For example, there was a woman, I heard that story. There was a woman that she was looking for her child, and somehow the child ended up under some kind of truck. I don't know how, trapped under a truck, like partly squished. And people couldn't get the child out. And this woman, the mother, compassionate, and this is her child, that's the most important being in her life. Okay. She summoned up the physical strength to lift up one end of the truck, to lift that up high enough for the other people to yank the child out from underneath. So that is one example of what I'm talking about. Like, the more immediate your need is to rescue a living being. Obviously, my dog is the most important being in my life. Okay. And that's one reason why I would not go as David against the Goliath. Because I know how dangerous the Goliath cable network of corruption is and how much leverage they have. I will not risk going against them. I will do freedom of speech. I will report what other people already reported on. I will propagate truth and information, but I cannot become an investigative journalist. Okay, that I cannot do for the safety of my dog and of Paul. Those are the beings that I love the most in my life. Okay, I cannot do it. And obviously, Julian Assange just reported on someone else's report, even. But if you report against, if you are exposing something that large as the US military, or you're exposing someone like George Soros, who's a string holder with that much leverage, or you expose Bill Gates with new information that other people don't already have, okay? So then you're really putting yourself in a lot of danger. Or you expose Dick Cheney or Barack Obama or Harris or Biden, any of these you expose any of these severe criminals and traitors, and with new information. Okay, so then you put yourself in a lot of risk. Okay, and that is what happened to Julian Assange. And Paul Watson, all he did was protect the whales. Okay, and now the Japanese are doing this to him, bribing the entire Danish government to extradite him to Japan. And Paul Watson is the most compassionate person on the planet. The most compassionate person on the planet. Or one of the most. I mean, right up there with Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Robert Kennedy, and Tulsi Gabbard. Okay, right up there. He should be in the White House together with all the good Samaritans. That's where he should be. Together, these people together as a team, they can transform this planet into a paradise. But people have all these other people that are clinging to their money, to their bribe money. It's almost like it's almost like cartoonish, It's like, let me use a more cartoonish, caricaturistic example to highlight what is happening. It's like someone how can I make this into a schematic image, into a scenario prototype image or something? Like someone offers a child money. Here is $10 for you. If you don't say anything about the bad uncle touching her inappropriately, just to use this example, right? So, and the child will cling to that money. That's my money. Okay. Cannot see the world outside of that $10, right? It's almost like an attachment, an emotional attachment to it. And someone else comes along and says, I have seen what your uncle did to you. You need to give him the $10 back, and you need to expose him for what he did to you. And the child, and I promise you a paradise. I promise you, I promise you freedom from this terrible trauma. I promise you healing and everything if you expose that man so that he can't do it to others anymore. He needs to be held accountable for this. Baby dog, no, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that. It's spiky. Don't do that. And the child will cling to the $10 instead of exposing that bad uncle or whoever it was, right, that corrupted. her mind and against herself, right? She is clinging to the money rather than healing this wound, the psychological wound, okay? And that's kind of like what I see happening in the world right now. So it's like all of these criminals, they even I even see people say this on the internet. The money is too good. So they cling to that money, whatever. $10,000, $1 million, if it's just enough money for someone who thinks $1 million is the world or something, then they will cling to that $1 million, and they feel also, and not only that, this $1 million then becomes some kind of, it attaches itself psychologically to a feeling of power, to a feeling of even accomplishment, even though there's no accomplishment in there. It's just corruption, right? It's really mental weakness. But they identify that with something that they have earned, or something that they have deserved, or something that is now theirs, and they can buy a hooker with that, or they can, and they think the hooker is love, right? I hear people talk, that's how they think. They are completely warped in their minds. Or they think they can, if they buy good clothes, they will be invited to some kind of party, or they will be led into some kind of upscale bar or something like this. This is how someone who has no education level and has never learned anything about ethics, this is someone like that who will, he's coming at me again. That's how someone like that will think and reason and function and feel psychologically, obviously. So it's not just this, there is this measly $10 or the measly $1 million. There's an entire range of emotions that is attached to that money, and that makes it so difficult. An entire identification is attached to it, and a prospect into the future of what he can then do with that money. A lot of women too, not just men, but it's mainly men. Unfortunately, it's sad. All of this is a problem that needs to be addressed. And on that same note, I say that men worldwide in general suffer the most. Okay, they really suffer the most with body image. They don't talk about it as women do. Okay, but they have body images that are much worse even than we have. You cannot even wrap your head around it. Okay, I've seen all of this now on my psychology quest, to find out. I see all of this. That's why, from the sky perspective, there is no judge hammer. Okay, the sky perspective, the blue God perspective is, this is the destiny. This is their situation, and it is a task for their soul to conquer this. To transcend these psychological obstacles, and to learn how to let go of that idea of self and the self-image and all of the identification that comes with that, this identification clinging and all of that. Yes, be good, baby dog, be good. Don't do it, don't do this. Don't do it. I'm gonna have to throw this thing away there that has wires sticking out. Paul always tends to buy things that I already in the beginning know that this is not going to be good. Baby dog, no. Don't do it. It has spiky wires. Don't do that. Don't do it, baby dog. Don't make me get the spray bottle out. Don't make me get the spray bottle. Baby dog, don't make me get the spray bottle. Yes. Behave yourself. Spray bottle always works. Even just in word form, it works. Yes. That's a good dog. Yes. Yes. You wanna be good. You wanna behave in a good way. Yes. Yes. You behave in a good way, and then Mama doesn't have to get the spray bottle out. Yes. Yes. There is a good dog. Yes. There is a good dog. So yeah. All of these are important things, If we had therapy help centers, so much can be healed. So much can be healed. It's a long process, but there would be immediate relief already. I mean, the world wars will end organically already, without even a politician giving some kind of incentive or warning. So, just with the you can have that. You can have that. There you go. There you go. There you go, an apple. All right. There you go. There you go. Yeah, an apple. Yes. Now that is, look, you got 2 apples at once. Oh my goodness. He got so excited about the apple. He got so excited that he has to run first several times around the garden. That was so good to get these 2 apples. My goodness, that is so much fun. Oh my gosh, there you go. That is a better way of playing ball than tennis balls, tennis balls have all kinds of chemicals in it, and those apples are completely organic and pure and pristine and clean. There you go, you got the ball now. That is so much fun. Look at the baby dog. And they can also chew them up and all of that, and completely mangle the apple and throw them around. It's all good. That's the best. Those are the best toys for dogs. Not some tennis ball from some kind of chemical factory or something. And all of these dog toys, I don't recommend them at all. Not at all. Most of them are not safe. So get your dog a piece of wood that you find at the beach, or a branch that had fallen off, and then you can cut the other twigs off, the spiky stuff and all of that, make it smooth, and then you give that to your dog to chew on. And he has several of those at the other house, and he loves those, and he chews on them, and that is how he bites into it and smoothes out his teeth. And so particularly baby dogs, they need to have something like this to chew on. It's very good. I don't recommend rawhide bones or any of these other plastic toys and so on. I don't think they're safe. I think they have toxins in it. So give your dog something natural, an apple or from the tree, or a branch from a tree. That's the best way to do it, definitely. So yeah, the video is getting longer. What I actually wanted to say, I have now avoided. Because I don't want to. I have my suspicions. And maybe I go overboard with those suspicions. But there's something that the cable network of corruption always, that's their philosophy. And the philosophy goes, and I hear this more and more lately, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Okay, so they hire people. They get Manchurian candidates. I have to look that word up. I want to know where that comes from, actually. Where this word comes from. It's like, does it come from the word man and chosen? Like, they chose themselves a gullible person that they can then groom into a person, into a murderer for hire, or into a spy, or whatever, That's how they function. And they groom people. They groom people, I heard, even in underground facilities. I believe that's where the assassinator that tried to shoot Donald Trump, I believe that's where he comes from. The reason why it was then finally shot down is same with the JFK assassination situation. Same situation. They will shoot the assassinator in order to prevent him from being interrogated and leaking out the information, right? Where he's coming from, how he was being groomed, and who groomed him, who are the people, maybe making some sketches of faces. So they want to avoid that. I mean, they cover their tracks anywhere they can. I mean, they don't leave any possibility of covering up their crime untouched. Right? They really don't. They will take 10 security measures instead of just 1 or 2. And that is how they function. I see this very clearly. No. Okay, so that's why just recently I had this thought, what if this or that person had been groomed into sneaking up on someone, making friends with this or that person in order to... There was a woman, for example, during the office time with Donald Trump, another Manchurian candidate that was sent to Donald Trump and to Melania Trump in order to cause problems. A saboteur, an infiltrator, a groomed person, right? And I mean, it's so obvious. Why would this heroin addict lady, then turned out later on she's some kind of drug addict, why would her book be published so eagerly, right? And why would someone like me, who publishes a book on saving the whole world, why would someone like me even be heaven banned and shadow banned? It's obvious. We're living in a world governed by the cable network of corruption. That's why. Okay. And that's why we need some help. We need another instance to come in, either AGI robots, but I don't know how long that might take. Ray Kurzweil said it will begin in 2029. So still a couple of years left to go. We don't have time, okay, with that, to wait. I mean, it's that urgent. Donald Trump's and Elon Musk's lives are at risk. Captain Paul Watson's life is at risk. In imminent risk, okay? We don't have time. There are animals in factory farms. Their lives are not just in risk, they're being tortured every day. Okay? We don't have time to wait for another instance to come in and do something to help. Okay? Really turn the world upside down and inside out, and bring every criminal to a tribunal. Bring justice into the world, okay? And then I have violent thoughts, of course, but I apologize to the blue god for it. But, I don't know what else to do. There are a lot of people that need to be head-bolted. Okay, a lot of people. George Soros is one of them. It is what it is. Okay. George Soros has a lot of blood on his hands. A lot. He has a lot of suffering on his hands. He is a disturbed man. He's not well. But just because he's not well doesn't mean he needs to get scot-free and continue his dirty work, right? No, that does not mean it at all. I mean, there's the sky perspective and there's the ground perspective. And we are here on the ground. We're not in the sky. We're not on Mars right now. We are dealing with the dirty stuff that's going on here on Earth. So let's deal with it. We're not going to deal with it by letting violent criminals or string holders like this, extremely corrupt, psychopathic, sociopathic people back out free. Okay. But it's those type of people, sociopathic people like George Soros, that will bribe their way into freedom. That will bribe their way through all instances. Through the FBI, the CIA, the military. The entire weapon industry is benefiting financially from him. Okay? And he is benefiting from them. Using our tax money that people, 70-year-old white people, have paid into their entire lives, working at Rite Aid every stinking day, cleaning toilets and sweeping floors, picking up broken glasses that some hobo destroyed in the store, right? Doing that dirty, rough work every day, dealing with people that are mentally ill and in a bad mood, doing that for 50, 60 years, right? Paying into this fund. And then someone like George Soros comes and he just freely uses that fund for his dirty, disgusting corruption. And that's what's happening, okay? And that's injustice on a level, on a scale that is so high that none of you can even wrap your heads around it. But I see it and I cry about it. Almost every day I cry about it. When I go to bed at night, I pray to the blue god. Bring an instance, bring the Arcturians, bring someone here who has the upper hand and who can create justice here. Okay. I don't know what else to say. Some people say, this is our school, this is our soul school, we're coming here. It has the highest of all difficult levels from all spaces in the infinite cosmos, okay, right here on Earth. It's like the most difficult school there is. But that's still no excuse to let someone like George Soros go free and do all of this horrible thing. Some people might even say, well, that is the image of the devil, right? But the image of the devil is not one individual person. The image of what people call the devil. I can talk for another hour about just this subject. The whole thing with devil has been twisted and distorted. Okay? The word, all of that, right? Because they use these words, they have used these words and these demonization tactics against good people. Okay, so, but yeah, if you want to use it against someone who actually is bad and very demonic, and selfish to a level that is out of this world, really. It's like an extreme pathology. That's what George Soros is. It's greed pathology. And everyone who's like him, there's many of those, many. And Jeff Bezos is another one. Bill Gates is another one. Warren Buffett is another one. And those people are string holders. Okay. There are many more names that I'm not informed about. I don't need to get informed about a million more names. Let's just pick the four that are already in the forefront, in the public limelight, right? The ones that we all know. So I'm not telling you something new here. You have already, if you paid any attention, you know what's going on. I don't hear Ishmael Perez talking against George Soros. So just another indicator for me, some kind of red flag. He talks against Elon Musk, big red flag. Okay. He doesn't talk against George Soros, like humongous red flag right there. So sorry, I have to say what I have to say. I'm attracted to him physically, but if he is a jerk, I'm not going to support him at all. I'm still subscribed to his channel, but if he does not talk against George Soros, that's a red flag for me, for sure. I don't trust him. I don't trust people who talk so mean against Elon Musk. I don't even know if he is actually for Donald Trump. Who knows what he's for? Is he for anything good at all? Or is he just playing this now because he sees the majority are for Donald Trump? So because he wants the subscribers and the support? I don't know. With some people, I really don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, when I saw Julian Assange in that Costa Rican embassy, I think that's what it was, the Costa Rican embassy in England. When I first watched that and I saw him there and going in there voluntarily, which I would have never done. I don't go into a prison. I would never walk into a prison voluntarily, would never do this. I mean, how much better was that situation than the Belmarsh prison? I don't see how much better. Maybe just a little bit better. Not much better, actually. I mean, in the Belmarsh prison, it was so bad, of course. I mean, I'm talking in terms of incarceration, in terms of freedom of movement and space, right? Was not that much better. But, of course, in the Belmarsh prison, he was MK Ultra, mind controlled to the absolute core. And that's why he can't speak out anymore. His mind is shackled now. They have threatened him. And that's how the corporate agenda functions. When they make someone have children, right? He didn't have children before. He probably didn't even want children. And here comes this lady into the Costa Rican embassy and acts like, I don't know if they were friends before or not. I can't say. But she acts like she's madly in love with him, that they have sex there, they make love there, and he had that freedom at least. And she makes them 2 boys. Okay. And then, once he has these children, then they really have leverage on him. Yeah. The wife, yeah, good and everything. He cares about her. That's still not enough leverage. For a good Samaritan, obviously for a good Samaritan, that's a lot of leverage. But the children are the absolute maximum leverage. A good Samaritan, my dog, is my highest priority. If I had a child, that child together with my dog, both equal, they both would be my highest priority. Okay, more than my spouse. Okay, more than my husband or any significant other that I might find, right? So I don't even trust most men. So I might have a boyfriend and it's all good and everything, but he might even betray me with something political even. Who knows? I don't know. But my children, those are my proteges. So when those people have a child, they can be extorted. And that's exactly what I think they did with him. He has children now. They use extortion on him. They say, if you don't do exactly what we want, if you don't talk against Donald Trump, if you don't support Obama and the Biden people, the Biden criminals in parentheses, okay. If you don't support them, if you don't mislead the public, then we know where your children live. Okay. I don't want to say any more because I don't like negative painting pictures on the wall. Okay. I'm very sensitive with this, and I pray to the blue God for the safety of his children, for the safety of Stella and the safety of him. And I just hope that Stella is not a collaborator. That's all I can say. But my very first impression when I saw her walk into the embassy and sit there with him on the table, my very first one, many years ago. Okay, young, beautiful woman walking in there. There was something about her. And then I don't know whether it could be my jealousy, right? It could be I'm jealous. Well, that's why my brain goes in that direction, right? Is it that? I'm not sure. No, I still am not sure. Oh, but there was something weird about her. That's something strange that, baby dog, don't do it. Something that I saw that felt mechanistic. It didn't seem natural. It didn't seem like someone like me, like a dork, would go in there and be like, oh, like you can tell, when someone sits there next to him, it's like, oh, I'm all yours, It's like if I sat there, I would be melting and, oh, I'm all yours, and oh, you are my God or something, And I mean, just like, me knowing that's a good person, this is an activist, this is a kind-hearted person, okay, who is also attractive. So that combination, you can tell when someone feels that. Versus someone who goes in there with an agenda, someone who functions in a very strategic type of way. So I don't know, that was my first impression. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's because of my jealousy. But all I can say is I hope that I am wrong about this. I hope I'm wrong about this. I hope she's not a collaborator. But I never I never heard her talk for the animals. She made friends with Vivienne Westwood, who is a very strong animal rights activist. I never heard Stella Assange talk for the animals. I never heard her find out more about the politicians. She's representing extreme left, which is not left anymore today, not what I grew up with. I grew up with the Green Party. I was a member of the Green Party in Germany a long time ago, when we thought this was green. This was for the animals and for the plants and for the forests, right? I never hear the extreme left people talk about protecting the environment, protecting the rainforest. Okay? I don't hear this. It's not on their agenda. So I only heard her talk against Donald Trump, and she was back then when people wanted him to be released, and that was during the Trump administration. She was afraid that he would be extradited to the United States, and she was afraid that Donald Trump would put him in prison or execute him. Donald Trump would never do something like this, okay? Donald Trump is a kind-hearted person. He belonged to the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party was still democratic. Long time ago. Okay. Donald Trump cares about the environment, about the animals, about justice. He cares about whistleblowers. He cares about kind-hearted, good Samaritans. The Blue God agrees with me. 111. It's a truth, okay? He would never do this. And me, as an activist, I would write down under in those Julian Assange groups and so on. I would say that. I would say, you guys are wrong about Donald Trump. You're indoctrinated. You're listening to fake news. Donald Trump cares. If he was extradited now to the United States during the Trump administration, he would be pardoned immediately. And people got so mad at me for saying that. I was wondering what the heck is going on here. They got so mad at me. They kicked me out of the group. They insulted me. They attacked me viciously. And I was like, what is going on? And all of these things, they don't go unnoticed. I don't forget about those. I don't forget about any of these details, okay? And it's all of these details that my brain collects, and my brain will vividly remember when the next clue comes along, right? So I have a bunch of clues in a bag in my brain, right, that I have collected. And because of these clues is why I ask questions, why I raise questions, okay? I raise questions in the direction of, could it be that these people are collaborators? And I have the right to do this. So when I watched this hearing, all of these clues are very alive in my head, okay? And I see this, and I see how he's constantly coughing, and it seems like this is a cough that is made up, and it seems to me like every time he's coughing, it is supposed to be an indication or some kind of hidden message that he was just omitting information, or he was saying false information. They have threatened him to not speak the truth anymore. So this entire hearing is obsolete. It's fake, okay? And I was very sad about this, and it bothered me so much. It made me so depressed. I cried. I went to bed very sad about this. But what else can I expect? What else do we expect, right? Do we expect that the corporate agenda will leave him alone while he's in the Belmarsh prison? No, of course not. They have their filaments in there, and their bribe, all of these people being bribed, and all of the prison guards and so on. And then they send their dirty psychologists in there, and they torture him with MK Ultra every single day and night. He gets completely biased information, lopsided information, and then I raise the question, what kind of side is shown to him from his wife Stella? Right? What is she showing him? He's not allowed to have a computer. What is she reporting to him? Okay, and he trusts her. That's his wife, right? So I'm raising questions, and you should too. Peace and love.